Alright, welcome back to Sauceman's Garage. Been a while since we posted a video. So today in the garage we have a 2008 Mazda CX-7. Has the MZR 2.3 turbo engine. We just finished doing the timing chain on it because the VVT sprocket failed and the tensioner and everything like that. So it's now roadworthy again. We didn't film that. That was long and involved. So it has a valve cover gasket leak, so we're going to replace the valve cover gasket, and we'll do that right now. So first things first, got to take the engine cover off. So we'll grab a small screwdriver and pop off the tabs, hold it into place. Lift up and pull. I've already loosened these, and then we release these two 10mm bolts here. Pull off the cover. And then we have to take off the intercooler. This is the intercooler for the turbo. So we have 12mm bolts right there, so we will remove the 12mm bolts. All right, there's 3 of them. 1, 2, and then 1 in the back. Right there. And I've already loosened that one. I'll pop that one off. So with those 3 bolts removed, we then need to remove the intercooler charge lines, which is the intake line there and such. Alright, so over here, what we need to do is we need to remove this small tube here from the wastegate. Pop that off. We need to remove this clamp here, the intake. I'll loosen that clamp. Also need to remove this hose clamp here. Loosen that one. And finally, this clamp here for this hose. Squeeze the clamp, slide that down. Now with all that undone, you should be able to lift off the intercooler. Watch out for these little metal tube. There we go. These little metal reinforcement gaskets or washers tend to fly everywhere. We'll just pop that off and take the whole intercooler off. And what did I drop? Socket. Alright, next now you have access to the valve cover gasket. So next what we'll do is we'll take off our coils, 8mm. holes. You can unhook the harness right there. And then what we're also going to do is you can see this ground wire right there. We don't have to take that off, but I'm going to because it's a bit in the way. Again, 8mm. Put that bolt back in. So now we'll unhook this sensor, squeeze the tab. Slide it off. And last is the VVT solenoid, which is here. Again, squeeze the tab, slide it off. All right, that gives access to the valve cover. Now again, 8mm. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 2 in the middle, 13 and 14. So those 14 bolts all come out, all 8mm. So they've all got retainer bushings on them. So basically, we loosen them all up. And you can see that they're, you can't really pull them out. So all you do is loosen them all. Now with all 14 loosened, we can pull. We can't yet. We have to just loosen this air line back here. So what we'll do is we will pop this line out, push up, push up to release the lock, and then just pop it off. All right, now we'll pull our whole valve cover off. We have one of the bolts still not quite undone. There we go. There is our valve cover off. So you can see here, we'll flip it over. All of the bolts will stay in, and our valve cover gasket is not too bad. Oh yeah, in the middle part here, it's pretty hard and pretty fragile. It's all cracked. So that's what causes oil leaks at the valve cover gasket. So I'll pop this off all the way around. Make sure we get every little piece of it off. Make sure you don't leave any chunks of it in there. Oops, lost a bolt. There's the old one. What we'll do now is we will put this down and install our new one. All right, so here is the new valve cover gasket kit. It's a male, making sure I pronounce that German anyways. Good quality, these ones. And there is the part number, VS50562. And so what we've done is I've cleaned the groove all the way around. You can see some of these came out, no big deal. All 14 are the same. Clean the groove all the way around. Now we will install this sucker. This one is nice and obviously nice and rubbery, brand new. Other one was quite brittle. So you can see that there's little nibs, and then there is a thin spot and more of a wider spot. Thin spot goes into the groove. So we'll just push this in. Probably gonna lose, I guess, all of these as we push this in, which will be okay. Just make sure it's nice seated in there, all the way in. That's good. And then we have the main piece. So you can see we have a dip, and we have a piece here that it goes into. So we will start with that corner. Again, we're going to lose all these bolts. We'll probably pop those out anyways. So we'll just work our way around. There you go. Can't go wrong. It only goes in one way because you have the knockout here for the I think that's the one camshaft where the high pressure fuel pump is. Anyways, it only goes on the one way. It's all pushed into place now. I've ended up taking the bolts out so it could seat properly. So just make sure it's all the way in the groove, all the way along, like that. And what we'll do is we are going to put a little dab of RTV on the head side, and I'll show you that in a moment. There, pop that one. Pop that one right out. So we'll put wherever typically you have a change, if it's flat surface all the way around, as soon as you have where it pops up, like where it goes into that camshaft valley there, a little bit of RTV up both of those corners to make sure that we don't lose anything. So now we'll go up top. So what we've done is we've cleaned the mating surface all the way around, so the whole perimeter is all clean. All the way, we've cleaned out the spark plug valleys here, this mating surface here, clean, and we're going to put a dab of RTV in that corner and one in that corner. Grab the RTV. All right, so I have just about enough RTV left. One more clean into that corner. Because if you're going to have a leak from a new valve cover gasket, it's going to be at these corners. That much I can guarantee. Nice and clean. So all we'll do is a little dab right there, and a little dab right there. Some people actually, you know what, I'm going to do the same thing where the timing cover meets, a little dab on both sides, because the timing cover is sealed with RTV. So if we didn't put enough on there at the top, we could have theoretically a little gap between the RTV sealant and the new rubber gasket. Now with that in place and all mating surfaces clean, we reinstall the valve cover. Here, once it seats down like that, you know you're in place. Check to make sure you don't have any wires stuck under it. Once you've confirmed that, we start reinstalling the bolts. Always hand start all of your fasteners to ensure that you're not going to cross thread them. Now what I'm doing is just barely running these down, because we will have to torque these, and there is a tightening sequence for these as well. So all I'm doing is just getting these close. Okay, those are all close. So now, factory service manual shows that we need to install the head cover to 70.9 to 101.7 inch-pounds. We're going to set our torque wrench to 85, and then the sequence is here. So when we did a previous video on, I think it was the Pontiac, I did have a commenter give me gears about not doing the torque sequence. To tell you the truth, I'm never really too worried about it. However, I think we should be, especially on newer cars. It's definitely a good idea to torque everything, and especially when you have a large valve cover such as this, when you're bolting it down to a flat block. You know, it is soft aluminum, so there is a chance that you actually could crack the aluminum. So bolting it down in the proper sequence is definitely advisable. So kudos to that fellow who gave me grief on that. So here we go. We'll do it according to the factory service manual. Torque wrench is set to 85. Number 1. There's the one. Off we go. Two. Number three. This is the second one over. Number four, according to the drawing, or sorry, according to the factory service manual from Mazda. Five is the one beside it. Six is the back one. Seven. Eight. Nine. Oops. 10. Eleven. 12. 13. 14, which is the last one. All right, those are all torqued down to 85 inch-pounds. Now, the rest is just the opposite of the removal. Just make sure the blue tabs are lined up with the slots. And then push it till it clicks. Solid. All right, so connected. Wiring harness is reconnected. Putting our intercooler back on. Just going to use a swivel on that back one. Snug. All right, so now we'll tighten the hose, the back hose on the intercooler. snug. Lower hose on the intercooler. Again, snug. We've squished our hose. All right, so there we go. Put our pipe on our wastegate. Put our clamp on our lower wastegate pipe. Right there, and last but not least, won't forget our ground pipe or our ground wire. Don't ever forget your ground wire, especially if you're removing grounds. That will cause havoc, and you'll be chasing electrical problems trying to figure out what it is when it's just a ground wire that you forgot to reconnect. Nice and tight. So now we'll just double check our connections. So our breather tube is tight, electrical connection, ground, wastegate, all the hoses for the intercooler, VVT solenoid, everything is reconnected. And next, alright, so next we'll be putting on intercooler shield. Hooks on the back. All it is on the back is a little hook right there. Hooks onto that tab. So hook that in first. Couple 10 millimeters. Good. Engine cover goes back on. Actually, you know what? Make sure all your tools are not going to go with the car. All right, one final check. Hoses are all connected. Clamps are all tight. Ground's back on. Breather valve. Good. Engine cover goes back on. Trim pegs we removed, snap back into place. And you're done. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time on another episode of Sauceman's Garage. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, and yeah, we will see you next time.